Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be flipping a few of the items from Wednesday's haul over on my second channel, Lifestyle by Brie. If you haven't checked that out yet, I will link it right up here for you. Be sure to head over there and subscribe. These are the pieces that I picked out to make over this week. They are all going to be getting a similar paint finish, so I'll be doing a bit of batch painting. I haven't found one of these in a long time. This one was $4.99, which is a little more than I would pay, but they used to always sell really well, so I took the chance. Originally Hobby Lobby, $14.99, and it's just a metal replica ceiling tin. But painted up, these are really, really pretty. I think I'm gonna do a single paint color and some waxes instead of wet distressing on this one since it's red. I always love a good tote. Y'all know I've been making a lot of totes of my own now, but this one was a good price, $1.99, little handmade tote. I'll take the ribbon off. We'll give it a paint job, probably do some fun stenciling on it, and we'll get that up on my site on Sunday. I was super excited about these when I found them. I remember that. $2 a piece on the big ones and $1.50 a piece on the small ones. So there's a set of each. We are going to give these a makeover and make them look good and chippy and old. I mixed 3/4 cup of faded burlap, a 1/4 cup of salty kiss, and a tablespoon of summer crush to make this beautiful sage green. You're going to be able to find the paint, products, and today's flips at upcycledbybrie.com. It is time to make some texture. So this is DIY paint frosting. It's an additive you add into your DIY paint that is going to thicken it into this frosting-like consistency. You only need to add a couple of drops to get a thick consistency with your paint, but it does need to sit for about 12 hours for the very best texture. I cleaned this piece with a little bit of Windex and took the plastic off of my Corbels. Now I am going in and stippling in some of this thickened paint. This is DIY Letterpress Grey, thickened with the paint frosting. I had mixed it up a few weeks ago for a project, and as you can see, it is still good and ready to use. While that dries, I'm going in with DIY Dark and Decrepit on the bigger set of these Corbels. When I'm doing batch painting like this, I'm working back and forth between several items to make things go faster and be more efficient. Dark and Decrepit is a multi-use product. You can use it as a transfer gel, a stain, a decoupage medium. Today I'm using it as a stain. It is VOC free and all natural, so I can use it inside. It is super simple. I'm just applying it here with a sponge brush, and since I'm painting over it, I only did one coat. If I were doing all stained wood, I would probably have done 2. On the smaller set, I'm using Old and Gray. Same type of product, just a gray color instead of brown. While the Corbels dry, I grabbed my little spatula knife here and I am going in with some of that thickened white swan and scraping it along the sides of this tote. The goal here is to look like this tote had many layers of paint finish without actually doing lots of full coverage paint layers. Once the Corbels are dry, I'm going in and just stippling on some of the thickened Letterpress Grey down into the corners and the details. This is going to give it an aged appearance, like maybe it got dusty and dirty and grungy over the years. Now I'll continue between those two methods over these wood pieces and alternate putting them in front of the fan to dry. The ceiling tin is dry, but the paint frosting doesn't self-seal. So I'm going in with Rust-Oleum matte clear enamel, and I do that on every single piece, the metal and the wood pieces. Once it's done, you can see that paint is in place. Now I will go over the top with my beautiful sage green that I mixed up, and I'm using my Klingon brushes today. I've got the F30 and the F40. DIY paint is clay-based. It is highly pigmented and super thick, so your coverage is going to be amazing. All natural ingredients and VOC-free, which makes it kid-friendly and safe to use indoors. What do y'all think about this beautiful sage green I have mixed up? Leave me a comment below. Are you digging this sage green that is totally trending this year? I didn't have enough of the sage to cover the big corbels, so I decided to just use Prairie Gray to save some time. I love this beautiful brownish gray color from DIY. This was the bottom of my can, so the paint is super thick. It definitely only took one coat to cover. While all the corbels dry, it's time to wax this metal tin. Now I'm going straight on with DIY white wax with a very heavy hand. I'm working small sections at a time, and I will wipe back the excess wax right away to make sure I'm getting the distressed look I'm wanting. The DIY waxes have a very soft consistency, which makes them really easy to work with. And you'll notice as I'm wiping back the excess wax, I'm not rubbing my paint off. It's not exposing that red of the metal tin underneath. I know that's a problem with some waxes, so you do not have to worry about that with the DIY. Add a little depth and dimension over this white wax. I'm going in with some dark Decrepit dust. This is a powder that you can apply over a top coat or a wax to give a nice aged patina. Here is a look at what this was like before, and here's a final look at this ceiling tin. What do y'all think? Big improvement or what? I hope you can see that you can take old outdated decor and turn it into something modern and beautiful. Time to sand down our wooden items. I've got 100 and 240 grit sandpaper kind of working back and forth between the two here on my little corner sander. It works well getting down in the little creases of these corbels. I'm sanding gently here at first. I don't want to take off all of my texture, but I do want to sand back that green paint to expose some of the colors and textures that I had applied underneath. And since I sealed those bottom layers in with the clear Rust-Oleum matte enamel, it stayed in place really well. I can sand the green off the top and you're still getting all of the beautiful colors underneath without them blending or getting muddied. I did a little bit of wet distressing on the big corbels. DIY paint is water soluble until it's sealed, so you can either sand it to distress or you can use a wet rag and wipe back the paint. DIY clear wax will seal these corbels up. I do not use any fancy brush when I'm waxing. I just use old brushes or throwaway chip brushes. I wanted to add a little bit of a stencil to the side of this tote. This is just a small piece of the grain sack mini set. I've got my 1/8 inch stencil brush and I'm using a little bit of DIY old school. The key to a good stencil is a very dry brush, so I apply just a tiny bit of paint, offload most of that paint onto a paper towel, and then use a light hand with a swirling motion over this nice thick stencil. These stencils are made for resellers, so they are made to be used over and over again. A coat of clear wax will seal up this tote as well. From boring little orangey tote to a fresh new look. This is going to be perfect for spring decor, and I really think I nailed the chippy layered look with the DIY paint. What do y'all think? Leave me a comment down below. All right, y'all absolutely love when I add my special touches to these wooden items. So I am taking a little scraper here and my hammer, and I am starting to hammer in a faux crack into this corbel. That way I can take a little bit of scrap metal and do a faux repair. I also like to take the ends of my hammer and other little tools and ding up the sides and the corners of my wood pieces to make them look like they have been through it over the years. Added in a little bit of dark wax down into this crack and the raw wood just to give it a good aged effect along with the rest of the piece. This is a little bucket of random scrap metal I have out in the garage. I've got a couple little buckets like this. You guys, I salvage parts off of everything. I grabbed a little bit of metal trim that came off some old window sachets. You just have to be very careful when you're working with this old metal. Don't cut yourself, wear some gloves. And I am tapping that little piece of metal into this corbel for a faux repair. Here is a look at the final outcome. What do you guys think? These little tiny green corbels are adorable for spring. I used the rest of that metal strip and carefully wrapped it around the base and top of this other set of corbels. It just gives it such an authentic industrial look. Y'all, I think this is my favorite out of today's video. I know it's not the sage green color as the rest of them, but I just love the chippy look of these and that extra added touch of metal. Leave me a comment below, which project was your favorite today? I hope y'all got some good inspiration of how you can transform thrifted items at home as well. If you like this kind of content, please give me a thumbs up and share this video out with a friend. It's gonna help this channel grow and help me bring you more amazing content. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell next to it so you don't miss any videos. And until next time, I will see y'all later. Bye, friends. Put it in my booth for Valentine's Day, but since we are past that holiday, it's fine. These a makeover and going to make them good look. I'm so excited. We are going to give these a makeover and make them look good and chippy and old.